class in our Warrior Princess Poet Dancer series. Today, we're going to work on what it means to be a princess. Yes, a princess. And that is not a word I have ever really gravitated towards, but it's being redeemed as I learn what it means to be a daughter of the Most High King and an heir, a noble child of God. So let's begin by standing up in mountain pose and bring your fingers into Prana Mudra. So our little finger and our ring finger and our tip of our thumb are all touching and the other fingers are straight. You can keep your hands down by your side, or you can bring them up into cactus arms. Prana Mudra is energy or life force. It awakens the energy into our body as we remember our life in Christ. And this is an iconic image you've seen in some of the classic Greek paintings of the Christ, of his hands in this position. So let's begin this way as we awaken the energy in our body and remember our life in God. You friends are a chosen people, set aside to be a royal order of priests and priestesses, a holy nation, God's own, so that you may proclaim the wondrous acts of the one who called you out of inky darkness into shimmering light. 1 Peter 2:9. Just breathe and soak that in. You are a chosen people. You have been called out of inky darkness into shimmering light. As we stand in this strong mountain pose with our chin parallel to the earth and our spine lengthening, the tailbone rooting down to the center of the earth as the crown of our head reaches high into the heavens. Stand as you are, a noble child of God. Throughout this practice, let's really call upon the dignity and beauty that we are given in Him, because that dignity and beauty that we experience when we breathe and we find our life in Him, that calls out the dignity and beauty in others. We are sons and daughters of a King as we stand here, noble and strong, knowing who we are. This class is a class about balance and where that balance comes from, a steadiness that comes from our faith, a nobility, a dignity. We'll be working with lots of fun balance poses, and in that, don't be afraid to shine bright, have fun, be playful, fall and get right back up again, be humble. The phrase for the princess, I think, is be humble and shine bright. You are a noble child of God. There is room to play in this, in your nobility, in your dignity, in your beauty. So breathe in and exhale. Exhale out all the air. And let's come into tree pose. And you can take any variation of tree pose that you like. Let's find our balance on our left foot to start. Right leg lifting. You can place that foot at your ankle or high into your thigh. Or take the variation that I'm taking, which is I'm tucking my right foot into the top of my left thigh, holding my foot with my left hand. Let's bring the right hand to our chest, thumb against our sternum. Let the peace of Christ rule in our hearts. Breathing here 5 breaths. Just getting right to it. Finding our balance in tree pose. Finding our center. The steadiness that comes from our faith in Him. And in this tree pose, really plant the feet, pressing into the mat to extend through the spine. On your exhale, release that right foot and slowly extend it back behind you. We're coming into Warrior 3. And in Warrior 3, our torso is parallel to the earth. And there's a long line of energy running from our heel of the leg that's lifted through that leg, through the spine, out through the crown of our heads, out through our arms and fingertips. And you can play with how you'd like your arms in this pose. The most challenging is arms fully extended. But to begin, you can keep your hands right at your hips. Just kind of ease into this balance. We'll waste no time. And if you don't feel fully warmed up, you can go back and turn on one of the other videos I have that can warm you up. Or you can just go really gentle and slow and be really connected to your breath and go easy at the beginning. On your next inhale, bring your knee to your chest, to the leg that is out behind you. Loop your peace fingers in between your big toes. Hold it here in like a standing happy baby, half happy baby. And then exhale, extend that heel out. So it's extended hand to big toe pose. And so we've already started with 3 balancing postures: tree pose, warrior 3, extended hand to big toe pose. And where does our balance come from? Our balance comes from our connection to the earth. Like the placement of our foot is really important so that we are rooting down through all 4 corners of our feet, placing the weight evenly in that foot. The tailbone is anchoring us by reaching down towards the center of the earth. As we grow out of our hips, so the spine lengthens and our crown reaches, and we tone the lower belly by drawing it in towards the back body. Great. On an exhale, bring your hands down by your left foot. You can take a standing splits here if you like, and then take a step behind you. So the right foot is placed down, and then the left foot swings up into 3-legged dog. This is fun. And we're going to have some fun here and be light. Bless others with your light. And then move on an inhale into Vasisthasana variation. So that left foot is going to come straight out to your side. You're going to shift onto the inside of your right foot. Lift up through the side body. Strong arms here. Lifting up through the right hip. Extending the crown long. Checking your shoulders are stacked one on top of the other. Nice. Exhale, come back to 3-legged dog. Inhale, come into pigeon with the left knee behind the left wrist. Squaring the hips, inching the right knee back to extend the right leg long. Breathing here, hands by your hips. Inhaling and rolling the shoulder blades back behind you, lifting the chest, smiling from the collarbones. Crown lifting, chin is parallel to the floor. And you notice that when our chin is parallel to the floor, there's a sense of nobility and strength. Breathe here in pigeon. Feel the stretch in the left glute, the outer left thigh and hip. Squaring the hips to the front of the mat. Slightly rotating that right hip point forward so that both your hip points are pointing towards the front of your mat. The inner thigh of that right leg is rotating up so that inner thigh is pointing towards the sky, and that helps to square the hips. Nice. One more inhale, lifting the chest here. Exhale, bring the left knee into the chest. Press it back into 3-legged dog, shaking it out. And then place that left foot by the right. Take 3 breaths here in downward dog. Our balance. Where does our balance come from? It comes from deep within us, from a steadiness that comes from our faith, a trust in Him who holds all things together, a connection to the earth below us and the breath moving through us. On your next inhale, extend your right foot up to the sky. step forward and come into tree pose on the opposite side. So now we are setting up our foundation through the right leg and bringing the left leg, placing that left foot in any variation that you'd like for tree pose at the ankle, stamping into the inner thigh, or this fun variation where you're rotating the bottom of your foot up to the sky and you're holding the backside of your toes with the right hand, letting the knee just drop softly down towards your mat. Hips are square, stamping that foot in to the mat. Strong legs here. Belly button toning into the back body. Heart lifting, shoulder blades rolling down your back, creating a lot of space in between the shoulder and the ears. Length from the tailbone up to the crown. Exhale, release the foot. Inhale, come into Warrior 3. And see if you can release some of the gripping in your toes. I know for me, when I start to lose my balance, I want to grip. And so happy feet here means our toes are spread wide and they're placed firmly on the mat, but there's no gripping. The leg extended out long behind us, a lot of energy running through that back heel, up through the spine, out the crown of the head. Fingers are engaged, shoulders are strong, rolling away from the ears. Breathing here. The toes of that back leg that's lifted are pointing straight down towards your mat, so your hips are nice and square in Warrior 3. Tone the lower belly so that your torso is strong, your low back is supported. Exhale, come up, bringing the knee towards your chest. Inhale, wrap your big toe with your peace fingers. And then on an exhale, extend the leg. Extended hand to big toe pose. Finding balance here. And I bet you're feeling it in the right shin about now. So breathe into the right shin. See if you can engage the quad on that right leg. To take some of the pressure out of the shin, all that weight that's dumping into the right leg. Engage your whole torso. Lift out of the leg. Breathing here, noble, strong, playful. It's okay if you fall, if you wobble, get right back into it. And then exhale, hands come down. Maybe take a moment in standing splits. Step back with that left leg, swing the right leg up into three-legged dog. Shake it out, take a scorpion if you like. Be a light. Bless others with your light. Be humble, shine bright. You are a princess and you have nothing to prove. You are a noble child of God. On your exhale, come into our Vasisthasana variation, extending your right leg out long in the center of your mat, resting your weight on the pinky toe side of that right foot and the big toe side of your left leg, left foot. Lifting up through the hips, creating length in the side body, strong arms. Breathing here, smiling, having a good time. It's a good thing to be a princess, to be noble, to know you're taken care of, to know you have a high calling. Exhale, back to three-legged dog for a brief moment. Inhaling, and then exhaling, coming into Pigeon. With that left foot behind the right wrist. I'm sorry, I think it's the opposite side, what I said before. The right foot coming behind the left wrist. So our left leg is long behind us and we're squaring our hips towards the front of our mat. Maybe we're internally rotating that long back leg so that our inner thighs are pointing up towards the ceiling. Our hands come down by our waist. We can rise up out of our hips, creating length from our tailbone, space in between each one of our vertebrae, all the way up to the crown of our head. Shoulder blades rolling back, smiling through the collarbones. nobility and grace and dignity through the whole torso, chin parallel to the floor. Breathing here. You are a chosen people, set aside to be a royal order, priests and priestesses. I love this, that you may proclaim the wondrous acts of the one who called you out of inky darkness into the shimmering light. That's our job, calling people out of the inky darkness into the shimmering light, proclaiming the wondrous thing that He has done for us, that He has transferred us from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of light. All right, we can come out of pigeon now, back to three-legged dog, shaking out that leg, switching legs so that the left heel now comes up, and we're going to do this whole flow again. Lots of balancing. So let me see how many balances. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 balance postures, and pigeon is kind of like a balance posture too, if we don't want to sink into our hips. And this time around, we're going to move into queen pigeon from pigeon, which is a lot of fun. So in this, let's just practice who we are, right? We are warrior, princess, poet, dancers, and today we're really focusing on what it means to be a princess. Not an airy-fairy princess, not a Disney princess, not a version of Barbie princess, but a noble child of God. That you are unique, that you are His daughter, that you are uniquely created, and that you have a high calling on your life to be a light and to bless others. So own it. You can own it without being, you can own it and be humble still. It's just knowing who you are. It's like knowing you were born in a certain city. It's just the fact. It's just the fact that you are a princess, that you are a child of God. All right, so tree pose. Taking whatever variation you like. Get it nice and strong on that standing left leg. Let the peace of Christ rule in your heart. So once you find your balance, bring your hands to your heart center. Let the peace of Christ rule in your heart. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, and on your next exhale, move into Warrior 3. See what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called children of God, and so we are. Enjoy that. Play with your Warrior 3. Airplane arms, nice and strong out in front of you, at your hips. Play with it. Be strong. Lots of energy out through that extended leg all the way through the arms. Inhale, bring the knee of that extended leg into your chest, standing up. Loop your peace fingers around that big toe. Exhale, extend the heel out. Extended hand to big toe pose. For at one time you were darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as a child of light. Breathe. Shine bright. Find your steadiness in Him, your steadiness that comes from your faith. Exhale, move through standing splits, and then step back onto that right leg, swinging the left leg up into three-legged dog. Be a light and bless others. Be humble and shine bright. And move into Vasisthasana, the variation where our left leg is out to the side. We're resting on the pinky edge of that left foot and the big toe edge of that right foot. Our hips are lifting tall, lots of length through the side body. Strong core, toning the lower belly into the back body. Inhale, three-legged dog again. Exhale, come into pigeon. On the left side. So the left, we're squaring our hips. The left knee is bent in front of us, and the right leg is extending long behind of us. If you want to move into queen pigeon from here, just bend that right leg and then loop your right foot into your right elbow. You can pause here and extend your left arm out long and just get your balance. This is kind of a balance posture too, because not all of us have the supreme flexibility in our hips to come all the way down to the floor. So to keep our hips square, we're engaging our legs and kind of scissoring the muscles of our legs together to keep us steady. And then from here, we can reach up, fingertips reaching to the sky, and then reach back and maybe clasp those fingers in a bind. Enjoy the nobility of your queen pigeon, knowing that our dignity and beauty that we are given in Him calls out the dignity and beauty in others. All right, and your exhale, come out of queen pigeon, hands down by your side, bringing the left knee into your chest, all the way up into three-legged dog, shaking it out, taking a scorpion here. Whatever you like, just have a little time to play. Wild thing if you like, whatever is part of your practice. And then place that leg down by the other foot. Take 3 breaths here in your down dog, or come down into child's pose. This is your reset, and then we're going to move on to the other side. Isn't it fun? It's kind of fun, right? To be a noble child of God, just to own it, just to really, yes, I can be humble and shine bright. I am a daughter of the King. And there's something so beautiful when we can truly own that, and it doesn't come from a place of needing to prove anything to anybody, but we are just free to be who we are because we know who names us. We know whose we are and who calls us by our name. Princesses. All right, so come forward, step up into tree pose. This time, it's on the opposite side. And take whatever tree pose variation you like, being really rooted in that standing leg, strong through that standing leg. Breathing here, taking whatever variation you like with your hands too, playing with it. What feels good for your body? What makes you feel really noble and dignified and beautiful and strong and secure in this posture? What helps you feel centered, connected to your steadfast faith? On your exhale, come into Warrior 3, keeping the strength in that standing leg, releasing the toes, maybe lifting them so you can see that you're not gripping through the feet, but that you're planting strongly through all 4 corners of the feet, and the toes are free to spread out wide, creating length all the way from the heel, through the spine, out the fingertips. And then exhale, bring that extended leg into your chest, loop the big toe with your peace fingers, inhaling for a moment, growing tall through the spine, exhaling, extending that heel out long. Draw your shoulder back so you can feel that it's the arms that helps draw the leg closer to the body. Draw your shoulder blades down your back, open up through the heart here, chin parallel to the floor, spine nice and straight. Straighter the spine, calmer the mind. So even in this balance pose where it's challenging to stay upright, see if we can keep a calm center. And if we fall out of it, we can just get right back into it. It's no big deal. Okay, exhale all out, come through a standing splits. Take a step back with that left leg, swing the right leg up. 3-legged dog on the right, and then Vasisthasana variation where our right leg comes out towards the center. Straight legs, we're shifting onto the inner side of the left foot, lengthening our left arm up to the sky, creating a lot of space through the side body. Hips are lifting. And breathe. Exhale, come back to 3-legged dog for a breath. Inhaling, exhaling, come into pigeon, then queen pigeon on the right side. Now take a moment to get yourself nice and set up here in pigeon. Hips are squaring to the front of the mat. Lower belly toning, so that helps lift you up. Do you see? When you tone your lower belly, your spine lengthens and you become a little straighter, lifting from the crown of your head, hip points, left hip point here, rotating towards the front of your mat to really square up the hips. And then if you want to take queen pigeon, bend that left leg, hook your elbow, the foot, into the left elbow. You can stay just like this, keeping your right arm down by your side for balance, or you can challenge yourself and extend the right arm long in front of you on an inhale, and then maybe exhale, take a gentle bind, reaching behind you for those fingertips. Princess Diana is legend to have said, "I know what my job was. It was to go out and meet the people and love them." And isn't that what a true princess is? Someone who goes out and meets people right where they're at, loves them right where they're at, and calls them into a better life. Our dignity and beauty that we are given in Christ calls out the dignity and beauty in others. Can you own the fact that you are an heir of the Most High King, and the light that is in you is needed in the world? It's needed. Here we are proclaiming the acts of the one who has called us out of inky darkness into shimmering light. How powerful that is. Just by being who we are, we glorify God. All right, and slowly come out of your queen pigeon now. Coming back through three-legged dog. That right leg lifting high into the air. Shake it out. Take a scorpion. Take what you like. Breathing. And now I'm going to have us come into child's pose. Come into child's pose, melting your heart to your mat. Hands down by your side. Take a wide child's pose with your knees out wide, making lots of room for your chest to melt, for your head to rest. Soften through the temples, soften through the jaw. Close your eyes here. And breathe. You are a chosen people, set aside to be a royal order of priests, a holy nation, God's own, so that you may proclaim the wondrous acts of the one who has called you out of inky darkness into shimmering light. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Let Christ rule and reign in your life. See what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called children of God, and so we are. You are a child of God, my friend. You are a princess. And maybe you still cringe when you hear that word princess, because for whatever reason it's been tainted for you. But it can be redeemed. That name can be restored. Because the fact is, you are a child of God. That's just the facts. That's what the word says again and again and again. So our job is just to receive it and to own it. To be humble and shine bright, knowing who He is, knowing who we are. For at one time you were darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. So walk as a child of light. Ephesians 5:8. Yes, when we can be who we are, we can just be so grounded and secure in who we are. It becomes so much easier to love people. The world and all of that, all of whatever is involved in our world, I know you know that it just can throw you. The day can throw us off balance. But when we connect back to our faith, we find a steadiness and a nobility that is just true. You can stay here or move into Savasana. Legs out long, let them just drop to the toes out to the side. Roll your shoulder blades gently underneath you to really open up through the heart. Hands relax down by your side, 45 degrees away from the body or so, palms up. Just surrender. Just surrender. Be who you are, friends. You are warrior, princess, poet, dancers, whom he has created nobly in his image, and whom he loves with the heart of a tender father. Grace and peace. May you feel steady and bright in your faith today, and may you go out and love your people and show them their dignity in his shimmering light. Blessings to each of you. See you soon.